1.
Good afternoon, everyone. Chair calls to order special legislative session day 21-004. Council, we are still meeting with a modified agenda due to the ongoing health emergency. I would ask you to please join us in standing for the pledge, followed by the opening prayer today by Councilman Jan Giordano. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Lord, may we come together today with open minds and open hearts. Please continue to watch over the citizens of Harford County and guide us into brighter days. Thanks to the 911 operators and the DPW staff during our winter blast. Amen.
Amen. Agenda item number 4, introduction and consideration of resolutions. Resolution 005-21, award of bid series 2021 CPI bonds. Mr. Woods, would you please read in the resolution?
Thank you, Mr. President. Resolution 00521, award of bid series 2021 CPI bonds, introduced by the Council President and sending at the request of the County Executive. Resolution of the County Council of Harford County, Maryland, the county, having reference to the issuance of $55 million, original aggregate principal amount of series maturity bonds designated as Harford County, Maryland, Consolidated Public Improvement Bonds, Series 2021, the Series 2021 CPI bonds, fixing the interest rate payable on the Series 2021 CPI bonds, and awarding the Series 2021 CPI bonds to the successful bidder. Therefore, upon the base of bids received this day, in accordance with the advertisement and official notice of sale, given notice of the sale pursuant to resolution number 029-20, adopted on December 8th, 2020. The terms. Okay, that's not in here. Adopted, it just says adopted on December 8th, 2020. So adopted by the County Council on December 8th, 2020. The terms of the sale resolution, determining that the Series 2021 CPI bond that matured on or after October 1, 2031 shall be subject to redemption prior to maturity, prescribing the form of the Series 2021 CPI bonds and the method of execution and authentication thereof, affirming that certain revenues are pledged to the payment of a portion of the Series 2021 CPI bonds, authorizing the county executive to enter into a continuing disclosure agreement with respects to the Series 2021 CPI bonds, and affirming that the full faith and credit and unlimited taxing power of Harford County, Maryland are pledged to the payment of the principal, premium, if any, and interest on the Series 2021 bonds.
Thank you, Mr. Woods. At this time, Council, I'd like to welcome Mr. Robbie Sandless and Mr. Fabian Waters, our Special Bond Counsel, for presentation. You need to unmute Mike or Barry. Robbie.
Shall I let the county executive kick this off, and then I'll provide a couple other comments after that.
Thank you, Mr. President. It's a pleasure for me to bring our staff and the results of our bond sale before you today. So once again, Harford County has secured the lowest bond rate in the history of the county at 1.2%. That's the lowest in 10-year history that we have kept. $55 million to Piper Sandler will be paid back over 20 years. More than half of the $55 million is for school projects, most notably the new Havre de Grace Middle High School at $25 million, and then the remainder for water quality, stormwater, wastewater, county facilities such as the courthouse renovation and various roads and bridges, and the athletic field replacement at Patterson Mill High School. I know it's hard to believe that we have gone a good bit below what we did last year at 2.0, but 1.21%, I think, is recognized by the markets that Harford County has consistently, over the last parts of my term, been able to manage not only the pandemic, but coming out of the recession with positive revenue and really our efficiency across the board. So I've got to thank all of my staff, all the folks that work for the county that have put us in this position to be one of the leading local governments in the state of Maryland. And Mr. President, I'd also like to thank you and members of the council for, at least during my 6 years, being good partners in making sure that we have a tight fiscal ship and that we are not borrowing beyond our means, and that really that fiscal policy has been recognized by our AAA bond ratings, but also by the market in these interest rates, that we have consistently provided good management of our public revenue. So with that being said, I'll turn it over to Mr. Sandless to give you the particulars of the bond sale. But as you can imagine, we are quite pleased with these percentages that we achieved today. And I'd be glad to answer any questions, but I'll kick it to Robbie if that's okay with you, Mr. President.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, just to echo what the county executive was saying, very pleased with this result. We had 9 bidders today for the county's $55 million bond sale. All of the bids were very close. But of course, Piper Sandler came in with the best at 1.2. Our previous record high was 2%, so this is considerably better than our previous high before that. Every one of the county executives' bond sales have been under 3%. So obviously this is now part of that, but now I guess the new bar has been set. I don't know if we'll be able to beat this. So this might be the one that sticks, but we'll come back again next year and try. Just as kind of a reminder, when it comes to the bond sale, all of this process, it really begins with the budget process. Any capital project that we sold bonds for today started off as a budget, and that budget had bonds on it as a funding source that was approved by the county council, went through the public hearing process, all of that. Then the ability to sell that debt on those particular projects was authorized through a bond authorization bill. Then there's a little bit of a lag sometimes between when we go through the budget process and when we actually do the projects and then spend the money. Because for the most part, we reimburse ourselves. So we kind of put the money out there first, and then the county reimburses ourselves. And that's where we kind of get to this point here now, the bond sale. So most of these bond projects are from things that were part of the fiscal year 20, fiscal year 19, fiscal year 18 budget. So again, there's a little bit of a lag there. As the county executive said, about half of them are for school projects, most notably the Happy Grace Middle High School. Other than that, though, it's largely about, again, as we've been saying for the past several years, infrastructure renewal, repairing our roads and bridges, meeting the stormwater obligations that the county has to take on, meeting the infrastructure renewal of water and sewer, replacing turf fields, things like that. So again, a really strong rate here. Now we just have to pay it back over the next 20 years, but with these rates, that'll be a lot easier to do. So with that, I will turn it over to Jen Dirksen, who is with Davenport, who is the county's financial advisor, to kind of provide a little bit more context on this bond sale. And then after that, Fabian Walters from Miles and Stockbridge kind of give you the legal particulars of this, of what exactly it is that you're approving through this resolution. So, Jen?
Great. Good afternoon. I just wanted to really reiterate what County Executive Glassman and Mr. Sandless had mentioned. This is a great result for the county. Of the 9 bids that the county received, there was only 10 basis points difference between the highest and the lowest bid received. So the county definitely got a market rate. In addition, we at Davenport, my colleague Joe Mason, who is also on here today, we work with a number of counties in Maryland, and the Harford County's rate, the 1.2%, is really one of the lowest, if not the lowest, that we've seen for 20-year new money with a level principal structure. So just wanted to congratulate the county on that, and be happy to take any questions.
Thank you, Jen. Fabian?
I'll just add that the resolution in front of you approves Piper Sandler or awards the bonds to Piper Sandler and approves the interest rate. It also approves the principal amounts for each maturity of the bonds and the interest rates for the bonds. These numbers are used to populate the final official statement and closing certificates, and the resolution provides for the procedures for the closing documents. Attached to the resolution, you'll also see the official bids, so you can actually see the bids for each bidder, as well as a form of bond and a continuing disclosure agreement.
Thank you, sir. Mr. County Executive, let me be the first here to congratulate you today and thank you as well for your conservative leadership throughout your 6 years thus far. With that, Council, I'd like to open it up to anyone with any questions. Mr. Wagner.
The only question I have is, not to mention the name, but what was the second closest bid? If I could have that that number, I don't have it in front of me.
Yeah, all of the bids are listed in the resolution for today, and let me just get the
JP Morgan.
JP Morgan, yes. And I believe it was only like a 1 or 2 basis point difference.
Okay, thanks.
Page 6, Councilman Wagner. Yeah, page 6.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Mr. Beulah.
Yes, Robbie, I know you, first of all, yeah, let me thank the county executive for being fiscally responsible and keeping us in good shape financially speaking as a county. But Robbie, the 1.25 interest rate versus the 2% interest rate, what would be the dollar amount saved over the life of the bonds compared to the 2% rate?
Sure.
Or have you calculated that yet?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's I can get you that number, so I'm not doing math on the fly, just to verify it. But yes, I'll get you those. We'll get you those numbers that would break down what the savings would be.
Well, you're always good at doing math on the fly, but yeah, send that over to me. Probably the rest of the council members would like to have that too. Thank you. That's all I have.
Sure thing.
Thank you, Mr. Beulah. Mr. Giangiordano.
Well, I think that's a wonderful sale. Question, Robbie, can we, once bond is sold, can we go back to old bonds and sell? We can't do anything with old bonds and sell to get a lower rate, can we?
So we can refund bonds. So last year we did a refunding of a bond. Remember we had those BAVS bonds that we took one back in 2010, and then they were eligible to be refunded. Now, one of the things that happened with Congress when they passed a whole slew of like the Tax and Cuts Jobs Act is they no longer allowed for tax exempt purchases any advance refundings. So you can still do an advance refunding, but then it has to become a taxable bond. And if it's a taxable bond, the rates are generally a little bit higher. There is talk about that maybe the new administration may bring back advance refundings. We every year we always do look at them and we say, okay, does it make sense? And sometimes it's you save money over the long term, but you may actually lose money during the short term. So we try to balance that into our thoughts. But we've refunded several bonds really over the past 10 years, and kind of what they're doing now with these bonds, like if you look at the coupons, they kind of put the higher coupon rates. So you'll notice like 4 and 5% in the early years, and then in the out years when they're eligible to be refunded, they're putting like 1.5% or things like that. And all those different coupon rates, along with the bond premium, kind of average out to that 2.1%. So I think as we get into the future, there may not be as many opportunities to refund, but we always look at it.
Is ours a variable rate, or is it just a flat rate of 1.21?
Yeah, so each bond for each year has its own kind of coupon rate. So in the early years, you'll see 4 or 5%, and so those bonds, they're kind of like, it'll be like a 2-year bond or a 3-year bond, and then they go away. The longer term bonds, so not that are like that go last the entire 20 years or 15 years or whatever, they have much lower rates. So the 2.1 is a blended rate of all those different coupon rates, plus they provide what's called like a premium. So in order to get some of these higher coupons, they provide like some cash up front. And then we use that to kind of offset debt service costs.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Giangiordano. Anyone else? Seeing no one else, Jen, Fabian, Robbie, thank you for your presentation. May I have a motion, please? Mr. Woods.
President, I move to approve resolution 005-21.
Second. Thank you, Mr. Schroeder. Moving a second to approve resolution 005-21. Any discussion? Ms. Dixon.
Mr. President,
Aye.
Mr. Johnson,
Aye.
Mr. Woods,
Aye.
Mr. Giangiordano,
Aye.
Mr. Schroeds,
Aye.
Mr. Wagner,
Aye.
Mr. Beulah.
Aye.
Thank you. There being 7 votes in the affirmative, 0 in the negative, resolution 005-21 is approved. And this will conclude this meeting. Mr. County Executive, did you want to say something else?
No, I wanted to thank the council. Thank you, Mr. President. And we look forward to getting back together again. We moved through this last, hopefully, 6 months of this pandemic. So thank you all, and I look forward to seeing you soon.
Thank you. This will adjourn the meeting.